Today I've got two case studies that I wanted to tell you about because the thing with migraine is that everyone's migraine presents so differently. And so there isn't one simple answer. You can't just go to Google or go to a textbook or whatever and go, oh, I've got migraine, what do I do? Because we present differently and there's different reasons why our migraine attacks are getting triggered. So I want to tell you about two of my beautiful clients. I've changed their names for privacy reasons. So my first client is Rachel. She's a single working mum. She's got 3 girls and she is so busy. She's never stopped, but she's always the one that puts her hand up at the school to help run the fete and everything. She's always helping everyone else, but never taking the time for herself. So her strategies to get through the day are wake up early, grab coffee. She's going and doing like her exercise then to get some time in for herself. Then she's busy working all day, running after the kids. She comes home, she flops, she has a glass of wine to run down. And then once she's got the kids to bed, she's sitting up, often having another glass of wine and taking her me time and going to bed pretty late. So her adrenals, she's just running on adrenaline and cortisol's like up here and then bottoming out, and she is just suffering. She's got headache every day, not always a full-on migraine attack, but she's always suffering. So what we did with her is just take a step back and look at her lifestyle strategies, is what we're always looking at, and we made some simple changes. So to start off with, we just made some dietary changes to help give her a bit of adrenal and liver love. So we made sure she was just having 1 coffee in the morning, so we didn't cut that out altogether. And we did cut out the wine and found another drink. So she turned that into a nice cup of herbal tea in the afternoon. So some dietary changes. The other thing we looked at is that she was just chronically dehydrated because of all the coffee and wine. She was on the go, she wasn't drinking, and then she'd get a headache and go, oh my gosh, I've got a headache, I must be dehydrated, and then guzzling water down. And we all know, of course, that once you've got the headache, that's not the time to drink the water. It's kind of too late. So hydration's something that we need to just be working on, keeping our bodies hydrated all the time. So just that. And then we looked at her evening routine, and rather than, getting the kids to bed and staying up late, what we did is just incorporate, she started doing a nice little gentle yoga routine and incorporated the girls with that in the afternoon. So some more relaxing, not so much of the high intensity exercise, but some more relaxing, supporting the nervous system. And then we did a lot of work on stress regulation and also just mindset around learning to say no to people to avoid the overwhelm, learning how to delegate, get the kids to help out around the house a little bit more, outsourcing things that she could. So she got someone, she actually did a swap. She did some cooking for someone that came and helped her clean the house because she couldn't afford to have a cleaner, and just learning how to do me time without impacting on sleep time. So we got her to bed earlier, and then because we weren't doing that high intensity run in the morning, she just actually did a walk around the garden and some journaling in the morning instead. She could then sleep in a tiny bit later, so she was getting more sleep. So as you can see, there was a lot going on there, but it made a massive difference, and it really reduced her reliance on the medication that she was taking as well. So the 3 things I want to think about with these 2 case studies is the what, the why, and the how. And we can think about this with everybody. So the what for her was that she was just overwhelmed and therefore making poor choices. And why this was happening is just because of her lifestyle situation, which we couldn't change. She was a single working mum with 3 kids, and she was super busy and had a lack of support. So we always talk about what is modifiable and what is not modifiable. And then we just focus on the things that we can modify, because focusing on the things that we can't modify just brings us a whole heap of stress that we really can't do anything about. So we worked on the how for her was just strategies, how to find more time in the day, how to have a better routine, you know, those things that we already talked about. So that was Rachel, and I'm sure a lot of you can sympathize with Rachel's story. My second beautiful client that I want to talk to you about was Kate. Now, Kate was a little bit older than Rachel. She was in her late 40s, and her migraine was getting a lot worse through that perimenopausal transition, so a lot of hormone fluctuations. And she was still, you know, she was at a high level in work, so she had to be on the ball at work. And she was one of these like A-type sort of perfectionist personalities. So she's like, I am going to get this migraine and I am going to kick it in the butt. I'm going to do everything. So she literally went to every doctor, every practitioner. That's when she saw me as a physio. She went to everything, osteo, chiro, massage, the neurologist. She was on so many different medications. She'd read every book. She was going for it. So she had the knowledge, but it wasn't helping her. Her migraines were getting worse and worse and worse. So what we delved into is the fact that the quote that I said is, "You are what you think." So she was so focused on migraine. Every waking moment, she was searching for a trigger or what medication or what supplement or whatever. Her whole body was just so wound up, and her nervous system was so uptight and stressed and highly sensitized that is actually what was decreasing her migraine threshold and making those attacks happen really, really often. So her what was that she was just over focused on, you know, curing migraine, and her why was just because she needed to be, you know, on at work and there was an expectation of her. And so how we helped her was just shifting her mindset around, you don't have to do everything. You've just got to find that one thing. And I talk about the Pareto principle, which you might know, the 80-20 rule. So you might get 80% of your results with only 20% of your actions. And that's what we worked on with her. So we looked at everything that she was doing. We literally wrote it all down, and I got her to highlight only 20%. She was only allowed to do 20%. The big things that were working for her, that she knew were helping. And then we just focused on them. And rather than dabbling in a bit of this, in a bit of that, we did those 20% really, 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 really well. So that was the how for her. So as you can see, they were two very different case studies. And that's the thing with migraine. It's very different for everyone, but we all have a what, a why, and there is always a how. So you can take control of migraine. You can be the boss of your body, and there is so much hope. It's just a matter of delving down and finding out why your system is sensitized and you're getting your migraine attacks, and what can we do about it.